I'm back. Okay, so JJ, can I bring you on now? I see my colleague JJ Ali back. I've been talking, but it's like, uh, okay, let me bring JJ on. Good evening, Sylvester. How you doing?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Bala, and good evening to our listeners. Good morning, wherever you are. Good evening and good morning to you all.
Yeah, it's good having you on, man. What's going on? What's been happening in the week?
Yeah, the week has been intense, but we can say Alhamdulillah. Give God a praise. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
despite
So
of,
I've been following social media the whole week. There are a lot of things been unfolding on social media. People been posting a lot of information on
mm,
social media. How have you been following?
yeah, Liberia is at our heart. We cannot stop following the happiness back home, despite we are far away, but there's nowhere like home. So every now and then we have to follow training issues and know how well the government is catering to the social welfare of the people, and where there's improvement needs to be made. These are things that we follow and to track progress and challenges along the way.
Okay, that's good. It's good having you on tonight,
Yeah,
Sylvester.
thank you.
Folks, if you are watching, we want you to share our show tonight. Encourage your colleague to follow. We are still waiting, on some of our colleagues like Broske Gwambei, that was Victor Mame, to join the conversation tonight, so we can, have this discussion to share our thought on some national issues. So whatever we are, we encourage you to continue, sharing our show. Encourage your colleague to follow the discussion. Let me say greetings to the entire Liberian community here in Rwanda. If you're Liberian studying in Rwanda, I want to say greetings to you. And if you're out of Liberia studying, in various countries, I also want to say greetings to you. If you are also a Liberian residing, you are not there for studies, you are living in those countries, I want to say good evening and welcome to our broadcast tonight. So whatever you are, whatever you find yourself, whatever community you are in, we want to encourage you to join the conversation tonight and let be part of the discussion, and then we can make your input. You can share your thoughts on some of these issues that we're going to discuss tonight, and we all together we can make Liberia better. Like JJ said, Liberia is all that we have, so we don't have another Liberia somewhere. It's the only country that we cannot be deported from. So whatever you do, I mean, you should have Liberia at heart, because at the end of the day, Liberia is all that we have. You could go America, go to other countries, you could be deported from those countries, but when it comes to Liberia, no. Probably if you cause some problem, they're just going to put you in jail for some time, and then they're going to release you. You don't have another country. So we all have to work together to make Liberia a better place for our children, ourselves, our children, children, to come, because it's the only country that we have. And bear in mind, it's the only country that we cannot be deported from. So we want to encourage you to share our show tonight and let make progress. Let's discuss some of these issues. So Victor Mame, if you are watching, we want to encourage you to join our show tonight, and the man Broski Gwambei, so that we can start the discussion. By the way, I saw on social media lately the Bon County students organization, I think in Rwanda or in East Africa, they're having a program around the 27 something, and they're expecting the Honorable Prince Moe. He's going to serve a guest speaker to come and grace the occasion. So as we await the two guys, what do you make of that post? Did you see it on Facebook?
Yeah, it's about strengthening diaspora solidarity and also aligning it with the vision of the respective counties in Liberia. It's not easy, especially leaving your home and then entering the diaspora. So you need to have that connection. So in order to do so, you have to form a block again. And I just hoping that this launch will be interesting and it might yield some benefit, win-win, both for the counties and that of the diasporas, the students, born county students are in the diaspora as well. Yeah, so I saw that post, and I'm hoping to see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. We are hoping to see how it's going to play out because to get these lawmakers from Liberia to come here to attend such an occasion is not just easy. And by
Mm,
the way, it's becoming a competition now between citizens of Liberia from various counties. Like we saw the students from Nima, they had their program here, and the superintendent came, she graced the occasion. We also saw the students from Grand Bassa, they had their program here. The senator came, he graced the occasion. And but sadly, the students from the southeast, they had their program because the southeast, the makers of of rural counties. So they are not in number to that extent. So they decided to come together as students from Southeast. And then they had their program, but I mean the program was kind of because they invited these people from Liberia, the lawmakers, but they didn't turn up. So at the end of the day, the program didn't really gain that kind of a momentum that people really expected the program to have, gotten. So even in the community, the students from Nima brought their superintendent. What's going on with students from the southeast? So now we're seeing the guys from the Bon County trying to organize something, and they are inviting their superintendent, that superintendent, but the Senator Honorable Prince Moy. We hope that, I mean, he's going to grace the occasion because putting a lot of funds in this kind of a program to organize a program is require a lot of work. It require a lot of planning. So just imagine a down meeting and then you just turn the invitation down like kind of a busy. I don't have time. So I don't know. I just hope that he's going to come, in Rwanda to at least to grace the occasion. We don't want it to be like what happened to the southeast. We don't want it to be like that. So what do you actually think he's going to come to grace the occasion, Sylvester?
I cannot preempt to know whether he will, because he's one of the ranking member in the House of Senate, and in the soonest possible time the Senate will resume. So I don't know whether the resumption of Senate from their vacation will also coincide with the date of the launching. But initially, what I would like to say, and like you mentioned, it is now becoming a competition in this diaspora community. Objectively, I would like to send this message to all to all the leadership, to the leadership of those various groupings, that in as much as you are forming your blog, it should not only be you form the blog to gain political attention for the time being, collect some money, and then you kill the program. Because the essence of diaspora community is not all only to then attract government officials abroad to grace their occasion, but also to make a positive impact back home to the counties and the districts that you are from. And these are things. Well, it is true that we are all students, and while it's true we are all students, but one way or the other, we can also make impact in our respective groupings. So it has become a norm. I'm just hoping that this launch will not only be to keep born county students together in a diaspora community, but also to solicit ideas, to solicit funding, and see whether they can address pressing challenges within the counties. Like last week, although we're going to the discussion, you see the situation in Bon County with the public school there. So these are things that we should not only attract lawmakers to come and give fund to the diaspora community in the Bon County Association in the diaspora community, but also be able to contribute to county's development. And this message also go across with the Bassa, Nema, Lofa, and so forth.
Yeah, because Lofa too trying to plan, Lofa to come up with something. Lofa also want to launch their their organization and then also raise fund to contribute to some students that are studying here that are going through some. financial, difficulties, they want to contribute toward those students' education. So, like you already put it, I think we saw it happen in the Nema case. After the program, there was some, ups and downs concerning funds. People,
You got a
they
journalist. What happened in the case again? Break the
no,
news.
there are a lot of holding and pulling. We hosted the guys on the platform, and then we told them after the program you're going to come back here because we host you, and then we are discussing. We discuss the issue. We hosted you and we discuss the issue. So now after the program, we expect you to come back to come and tell our audience
To
has the
give
program
feedback,
went.
give your
Yeah,
comments. Yeah.
why did you generate from the program? So what was the
Hmm.
funding generated from the program? You need to tell us. And how you going to use this, the funds. At the end of the day, we try to contact those people. They said we first want to make report to our people before coming on. Up to now, we engaged them, we couldn't get hold of them to come on the platform. Later, we start to
But do you
hear
think
some corruption activities, people playing money. This one they didn't go
is it
well. We see
alleged
this
or,
thing.
or you have confirmed the
No,
issue?
it's alleged. Yes, sorry. Let me use the word alleged. Alleged. Yeah, it's alleged that there are some.
I
Yeah,
don't want anyone to file. I don't want anyone to file lawsuit against
no,
strange people.
sure. So it is alleged that there are some corruption activities been going on because we listened to some voice recording, we saw some screenshots. You know, by the end of the day, we I mean, it is what it is. We find ourselves in Liberia. So, like, I don't know what went on. Everything just went on the carpet. And now they have a new leadership. They have, because I think those guys that were heading the organization first, because for them, it's about the entire East Africa. It's not only about Rwanda, it's about entire East Africa. So, how can you organize a program for the entire East Africa? At the end of the day, you see, I mean, there are a lot of things. It's alleged that, I mean, the way things went, it didn't go down well with many people within the community. So most especially those from the Nima end. So there are a lot of discussion been going. We have some, some information. We actually wanted to post the information, but later they have to no, this information you have to, it went this way, it went this way. So we're like, but what you guys want us to do? We have to share this information on our platform, and there were a lot of discussion going on. So I don't know. So this, remember, we are all young people out here, and tomorrow you are going to, be appointed to some ministerial position. You are going to be appointed to some, commissioner, or some positions. So if you start to carry on some corruption at the early stage while you are in school, tell me, if you excel to the position, what are you going to do? What difference? You're going to be like the same thing that these people doing. We are complaining every day on their names, the same thing that they are doing, you're going to do the same thing. Because they just gave you a little organization to take care of, and some noise start to come about finance issue. Yeah, some people saying it's factual, some saying it's not factual. They said they're going to organize a committee to go deep down into that discussion, and they're going to come up with a result. But we are still waiting on them to get information
So
from them.
in that regard, I will advise that we pull hold to that other to that other conversation until we await the findings for discussion.
Yeah, sure. So we are still no. We just tried to. I mean, these people were even on our platform. It was not in the corner, right? We brought them here and then we aired that program. So after the
Hmm.
program, now what happened? You can come back to our people to discuss the issue. You can come back to our people. So, like you said, we're going to hold on to it and then wait to see what's going to happen in the future as we go through the investigation. By the way, Broske Gwambe, he's the newly, elected chairman for the Nimba County Student East Africa. So hopefully, I think they have that program in October next month. Yeah, they have that inauguration
Hmm.
program next month in October. I saw the flyer at the ULK on the ULK campus, something like that. So we hope to probably cover that program if we receive invitation from them. So, folks, if you are watching, we want you to share our show tonight. I don't know whether we should stay wait for the guys or we should dive into the discussion. We are going like 29 minutes. I don't know.
I think, Mr. Bala, we can proceed. We can proceed because due to time, our listeners and viewers are waiting to know what will be unpacked for this discussion tonight. So while we are in communication with our other fellow panelists, we can proceed with the conversation and then see whether we can bring them in if they come, if they are available.
Okay, that's good. So, like I said, there are a lot of trending news on the air, and I first they want us to look at the one that has to do with students coming to Rwanda. You saw that post, right? You saw that program that was heard at the I think the foreign ministry. Yeah, the sorry, a team from Rwanda were in Liberia just gone by time, and then they had some discussion concerning visa. You know, you saw that program, you saw that post on social media, JJ.
Yes, of course I did, and you know, I think we are getting to where we should be. And
Mhm.
I don't know whether we have started the conversation concerning the visa waiver between Liberia and
Yeah, we can go through it. Let's go through it.
so I think like I was saying, we are getting to where we supposed to be, and it takes time, especially diplomacy. It takes time to realize some discussion points to settle on an agreement. I can remember a year ago, if I'm not mistaken, 1 year, roughly 2 months, um, when the ambassador to Ghana, who is also residing in Liberia, permanent representative, engaged our newly appointed foreign minister back then, and they
Mm,
initiated some conversations. And the conversation centered around trade, education, empowerment, aviation, and so forth. So those were things that were discussed. But when diplomats have conversation, they
mm,
have to go back and rally around their respective governments and see how best they can roll out mechanism to allowing these things to come to reality. So over the time, you see a deputy minister for international affairs, international cooperation, Dr. Ibrahim Yin. He has had similar, several conversation, interaction back and forth, in Rwanda at the UNGA and so forth, meeting the Rwanda foreign ministers, and to settle on some of those agreements. And thankfully, the dynamic leadership of the foreign affairs, they were able to have a real signing deal to see how best things can come to reality. So the visa waiver is just one of the many conversations that are ongoing. But yes, these things are something that the public needs to know
mm,
before these two countries have initiated conversation for bilateral relationship. And if I'm not mistaken, in 2023 or or early 2024, His Excellency Mr. Paul Kagame, you
mm.
know, Rwanda gave a visa free to all African countries, if you can remember, if you can record,
Sure.
visa waiver to all African countries. What does that mean? It means that if I'm from Senegal, no, I don't want to really make mention. Okay, I want to make mention to any other countries that is not really in the bilateral relationship with, or let's say Comoros. I can easily enter Rwanda for maximum of roughly 90 days, enjoy myself and go. So these are steps toward the borderless African nations or African countries. So the visa waiver, in my mind, objectively, in my mind, I'm thinking that is it's just an agreement to also benefit the Rwandese, because by virtue of the fact when when His Excellency Paul Kagame gave visa free to all African countries, even Liberians to enter in this country free for roughly 60 days. I know the Liberian that spent like 30 days in this country without visa, and things went well. So this visa waiver agreement is something that to strengthen the bilateral relationship is a first step, and seeing how best to give leverage to Rwandese investors to put in. Though it's reciprocal, but it's something that can be leveraged upon. But there are some residents in the diaspora community that are also not getting the clearer picture. If both countries go into visa waiver, does not mean that there is free for permit residents or resident permits. So you are residing in Rwanda, it does not mean that the visa waiver is directly beneficial to you. Don't get that mistaken. So do not forget about yourself, and whereby you supposed to renew your resident permit as a student, and then you say, oh, because my country and Rwanda has a bilateral agreement on visa waiver, that means that I can stay in this country perpetually as long as I want to, and there will be no fine imposed, there will be no deportation and so forth. So these are things that they should be very skeptical about, and ensuring that they watch the deadline or the expiration date of their permits for renewal.
Yeah, like you already put it. I think you have been following the chat room. These are things like Brent been discussing, but you guys talking about visa waiver. But like Brent been come here, all the national been traveling to Rwanda, still like spend like 30 days, like 1 month period without visa. And it's been entered. So what actually does the visa waiver means? We actually need more explanation from maybe Rwanda or that are Liberia to actually explain to us or to the public the kind of you know bilateral relationship that we try to establish or we have already established, because there is more to that. We need more explanation, and I think we have to do more follow up on that, because Rwanda is here. We can get around the ministry there to I mean talk to these people. They have to give us more clarity on this issue. Are you
But Mr.
saying?
Mhm.
Go ahead.
No, ask a question. I'm sure you will not ask
Yeah,
question.
I was just saying. Are they saying that if you are a student studying Rwanda, meaning you don't need to actually have a visa, or if you just come, so we still need we need some clarity on these issues, because in the chat room, librarian been like, but this thing is not strange. Foreigner be entering to Rwanda free. Like you spend 30 days, probably 90 days, and then after, if you go in those, because like I've been following a lawyer called Innocent, you spend like 90 the 30 days. After the 30 days, if you want to continue being Rwanda, you have to apply for, or probably if you come on a tourism purpose or working something, you have to apply for a permit, to apply for a visa. But now, when it comes to this identical issue about visa waiver, I saw something concerning the police. The Rwanda and Liberia are going to have a joint training on law enforcement. I saw it, which is very good. But for that, it's understood. But when it comes to this visa aspect, we still have some doubt. I think, like I said, we have to do more follow up on that issue, so that people in the Liberia community, I mean, the issue can be clear to them. What do
So,
you
Mr.
think?
Bora, this thing is generic, and it's common common in the foreign sector, um, especially when it comes to diplomacy. To strengthen bilateral relationship, the first, sometimes, yeah, majority, or in most instances, the first way to go to ensuring that agreements will be made further, or
Hmm.
agreements will be enhanced or expedited, is to first say, let both of us have a visa waiver. My people can come in your country, explore business opportunities, as well your people can come in my country and explore business opportunities. So that's a first step. Now you see after the signing of the visa waiver, you see other things that follow. Now security engagement. From the inception, if you can recall, the IGP came to this country in August of last year.
Mhm.
August of last year, imagine, was a time like 2024, July was a time where they initiated the previous conversation. So August of
Yeah.
last year, our security apparatus here entered this country to engage with Rwanda with their counterpart in the same sector to find means of strengthening capacity building for both forces. So now you see it's being reciprocated. So now since we have the visa waiver, more things can fall in place. Like I said, we are getting to where we should be, though it takes time. I can remember 2021, a Liberian coming in Rwanda. If you come to this country for business purpose, you have to get business survey visa.
Okay.
You have to get business survey. Prior to the time His Excellency Paul Kagame grant visa waiver for all African countries. So I can remember there's a lady of one of my aunties. She flew in this country to do a business survey. She ended up paying like 150,000 francs to get just 30 days business survey visa.
Mm.
So for the fact that I'm sure the same thing applies to Liberia. I don't really know. I don't want to speak much of the mechanism they put in place for foreigners doing survey in the country, business survey in the country, whether they gave them the absolute leverage of not paying for visa in Liberia. But I want to believe that foreigners do pay for visa in Liberia. So this is an opportunity for the Rwandan government as well. So before then, maybe a Rwanda could go to Liberia and pay for visa before entering the country. So now with the visa waiver, it gives leverage now to Rwandese investors and other citizens that just want to explore Liberia to see and enjoy the greenness and freshness of Liberia can also put in. So this agreement that was signed on during the course of last week. I think, yeah, this week. Now we are in Sunday. I'm so sorry. During the course of last week is an agreement to give Rwanda investors the time to also explore opportunities in our country. So maybe more explanation needs to be made, but this is the way to go. Once now they have settled on visa waiver, who knows? Aviation will fall in, and trading among each other, between both countries will also fall in. So this is the way to go.
Yeah, thank you. Indeed, like we said, we're going to do more follow up on this issue. Probably we're going to meet up with they go to immigration to get some information from there, even the foreign affairs ministry. If possible, if we can have an interview with them or if they can appear on our platform to discuss the issue about this visa waiver so that librarian can be informed. It shouldn't be like you can just once you are a student librarian and it doesn't need visa. I mean, you're already here, so just study. Even if your permit is expired, just continue studying. Don't think about that. Yeah, I think so. If you are studying for now, you have to focus on that. If your permit is getting expired, try to renew it so that you can be called off in some problem. So,
You
like
know,
we
you
said,
know, you know, it is good that both countries are realizing the essence of forming a bilateral relation. Uh, if I may be correct, maybe it was 2018 when not 2018. I think Madame Celi's second term when she initiated that, and maybe it was just a conversation between two head of states. But diplomacy takes time. You will not just go in your friend country and say I won't be friend with you, and initiate conversation on some trace boom, it just work up like that. It takes time. There are many African countries that do not have bilateral relationship with each other, exception of being in a multilateral organization like the African Union or the ECOWAS or the different regional bloc. But there are many African countries that do not have a bilateral relationship with each other. So I think Rwanda and Liberia they share a similar history, despite their own was a short period of time, but you can see how far they have gone. And more besides, we are all Africans, so there's a need that we interact with one another. There's a need that we trade with one another. Now you see there are many Liberians who have put in this country in course of a quality education. This is something that really for me. Sometimes my colleague, can ask me what really interests Liberians to come in this country. So they go sometimes some of them can want to pick in my mouth to know whether is Rwanda better off in Liberia that make either. I'll be like,
Yeah.
I don't need to go into that other comparison, but what I usually kill the argument is we are all African. So there's a need that we learn from each other. Simple as it is. And now you can see currently as we speak, there's a delegate from multiple for multi ministries, internal affairs, ministry of finance, and I think MCC. They are in this country now, currently as we speak, on a study tour with Rwanda Revenue Authority, and then from there they will move to Kenya. So it's just we just need to embrace each other and learn from each other. That's how we grow. So I think this is a move that His Excellency President Joseph Nima Buaka has initiated, and they should be credited to him and that of the head of the foreign ministry for taking on this bold step.
Yeah, they are actually working because now we are seeing a collaboration. Like you mentioned, the police RG was here, and I think had some discussion with the Rwandan police. So now, from that discussion today, we saw a post. Now Rwanda and Liberia have to go through, they have a training section, concerning law enforcement. So we think that I think with that we're going to strengthen each other because we are all African, by the way. We understand that in Europe, once you go in Europe, you just need to have I think a Schengen visa. You're going to travel to all European countries. You don't need to have this. You go to another country. You have in Africa, we don't have that. I don't know why. Really, the problem it is because of the issue about economic difficulties because everyone has their own interest. People use the issue about visa fees, to generate revenue to boost their economy. So, it's from that background. Maybe they don't want to just waive visa and let have a one Africa. You can once you have a visa, you can travel to any country in Africa you feel like. I think it is because of that they don't really want to go into that because can you imagine a country will be closer? We are African, but for you to just enter in another African country, you have to go through lot of process, lot of scrutinies. Although it's another country, but I mean we say we are Africans, and we are complaining. These guys in the West, they are treating us somehow before you travel. Just imagine you have an English speaking country and they say if you are going to a country in the West education, you need to have an English proficiency certificate. Can you imagine that? But you are from a country that is English, oriented. So these are problems we face with these people. Now, can we face the same problem with ourselves in Africa? I don't think it should be like that. So, like, if we are once we are start to see these kind of initiatives, I think it's okay, the kind of a collaboration because obviously Liberians, it's not only Liberians alone. There are a lot of nationals here that are also contributing immensely to the Rwandese economy. Just imagine housing. You're talking about the food. I mean, other activities. There are a lot of money people spend in this country that contributes towards the country, economy. And like you said, they have to do with that kind of a collaboration. We learn from each other. Now there are some. I was following a lady on TikTok. I saw she was speaking Kinyarwanda. She's actually not from Rwanda, but he said she's been here for a long now. So she speaks Kiawanda. Although in the comment section there are some people who are like, "Your Kiawanda is not good." They say, but at least I'm trying. I'm not from here. But if I tell you to speak my from where I come from, you cannot do that.
And
So you see,
and I want to believe that you too is speaking Rwanda very
yeah,
well.
I try, yeah, on the because I usually go in the market. I interact. Don't put me say to watch again, don't put me say to watch again, So I try a little bit, but the reason why, like I have our experience, right? The reason why it becoming difficult for us here
Hmm.
to just speak Kiawana fluently is because from school they don't teach Kiawana. They teach Kiawana in the school, but in the school the language of instruction is English, right? So you learn English from the school. If you come to your house, you see your same Liberian brothers. You guys speak English, speak the normal Liberian, something a thing. At the end of the day, if you go outside, you guys going together. So to just grab the issue about the Kiawana is going to be difficult. When I was in Cote d'Ivoire, way
Is,
back, I
is that a
went to
justification?
yeah. I'm coming because, like I said, I have an experience. When I went to the Ivory Coast, there's a place called Yanto around the Rewaji built there. People from the southeast, where they usually go there to do some trade and thing. I went there. I was living there for some time, but I found myself around many Liberians. So every time Liberians activities doing, I had some connection with some Ivorians, but yeah, then I couldn't really speak the French except they kind of go French. Then we were speaking around. But later, yeah. But later, when I left from Yanto, I went to a place called Vede in Bape. I went to Bape. I was living with French people, the man and his family. They doesn't speak English. Everything is about French. So when I entered that kind of environment, coming away in no time, I started picking up because everything is about French. Who am I going to speak like English to? So within no time, I tried to pick up. They had I wish that Akin Bobo show was like bumming around. So sometimes they will pull a French show on, and then they will start add like they want to explain to me English, chapping and other things. From there they put Akin and Bobo show on, and they want me to explain to them in French. So it's like we were learning from each other, try to chat and other things. So within no time, I have something in my head. And today I can tell you if I go any French country, I can live with it. You can't hold me easily. I will pass. I will go somewhere and I will. Even in this place that I'm being and say, like your Jaja friend, you can speak. I say okay, but we'll go to some area when some people talking when I try to engage them, they understand and they are gone. You see, but unlike here, it's going to be difficult. I can tell you for free. You will spend the next 5 years here. Come, you won't speak. You and somebody will not ready. No,
You're just
you're smart not
you
going to care not for just for the first 1 minute say too much or two
your,
minutes you will have to switch.
your justification reminds me of one of my colleagues. I was like, we were having a conversation, and I asked him, "My man, if you go by Liberia, yeah, people ask you, which part of Ghana you are staying? Can you speak the local language?" You know what the colleague told me?
No.
He told me the community you are living, so international students. Some of them from from Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and so on. So that's why. But anyway, that should not be your justification. We must embrace each other, because there is strength in diversity. There's an article was written. I was written by one. There are many writers for that article called trying to locate it. Destroy their tongue and identity so that they cannot build their house.
Okay.
So if you're talking about the borderless Africa, where some African countries are becoming so tight on their brothers entering, these are things that were put in the mind of respective nations by our colonial masters. So that's why you see most often it's kind of difficult for us to just enter another Africa, and especially for some countries in the East Africa. I don't want to call name. But when you listen to our accent, Liberian, they assume that we are Nigerian, and then once they assume that we are Nigerian, they take us. That perception for us is being put aside in a different box. They perceive us to be, how those guys are. So But anyway, I'm hoping that this agreement that was signed, there will be more to be signed, to ensuring that we strengthen each other. Let's development rule, let development and pop up in our respective countries. And by the way, Rwanda has done extremely well. So it's never too late to learn, and it's good enough that our leadership back home, the Liberian government, is taking advantage of of some of these things to leverage on the expertise of or the experience of where Rwanda have come from and where they are going and so forth. So that's just my take on that.
Yeah, sure. So we hope so. But I want you to bear in mind if you want to speak French, Kiawana, then you have to actually reduce. Although it's not easy, but I mean your activity within the Liberian community, I don't really see it working. So it's actually going to be difficult for us to do that. So if we actually want to speak Kiawana, we need to do more. We need to do more. Because the thing is about, I mean, why you pulling and why you receive?
My
Rubbish is
brother,
rubbish.
there are Liberian living somewhere in Ruango, attending I Gateway University. And then two or three like you are aware of. Nana for the length of time they are spending you asking some questions that they will not explain to you. They are Liberian living in those very rural areas still. It's that about you putting your mind to it. It's not where you are being situated.
No, put your mantle is one. Like you said, yes, put your mantle is one of the key. I do agree. But let assume that uh those people in those areas they were not even speaking small English. Everything was like Kiawanda. By this time, those people that you're talking about, they would have been speaking clear Kiawanda. Yeah, because the reason why they still find it difficult, if they go to school, the English of instruction is English. The language of instruction is English. If they comes home, they still interact with some Rwandese who speaks English. So like that is gonna be difficult for like the what I share with the experience I share with you was not like that. If you come home, that's also French. When I go sell, because I used to sell like kue on the circle. They used to you get in Cote d'Ivoire, they call it Yahoo. So you put on the circle, the same circle you gotta have here. You put on the circle, you gotta say pogu 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 pogu. You know that home. You passing it around. Yeah, yeah, will be for me. All of those things. So we're interacting with French people. When you come home, you interact with the same French people. So at the end of the day, for you to speak French, it was just easy. But
Yeah.
yeah, the moment I got to my we speak English. Joe, I am my brother. So but it is what it is. If you want to learn it, actually you can do it. You there are a lot of people who there are a lot of people who are I mean from other countries trying to speak Kiawanda. And like you said, the people from Rwanda, like when you talk, they usually take you like somebody from Nigeria. I went on a program there. The other guy was like, the guy who in there, the people already feel that, I mean, we are Nigerian. So when you go there, you are Nigerian. I say, you're not ready for yourself. I'm from Liberia. I'm not from Nigeria. I cannot go there and say I'm from Nigeria. Though the guy is from Nigeria. So you expect me if I go there and they ask me, I should say I'm from Nigeria? No, I'm from Liberia. It's where I'm from. How can I have my identity? Don't do that. We ask on don't do that. And then we just left here and went in we start to interact with people.
Yeah.
So
So
we want to embrace that. We want to have one Africa. We hope that like the way things going is going to play out in Liberia and Rwanda are going to have many collaboration because like you said, Rwanda is progressing. Rwanda is moving faster. Rwanda not joking. I saw a post where they're trying to test a drone from one
it's,
Chinese company.
it's not
Yeah.
a drone, it's an air test it.
It how much but they say it like a drone. It take two persons.
It's
Air
not
testing like
drone, brother. The
it's
air
air
test they
testing.
consider as air test it. That's a
Okay.
name to
Okay.
it.
Test it. So they're trying to test that stuff. That will take two persons. And solar power, right? I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Gonna be solar power. So you see, the people working, they are working towards progress. So once we try to build up, because they say, show me a friend, I will tell you who you are. So once we try to come in with a kind of a collaboration, we hope that Liberia to going to chip in on their expertise and learn some things so that we can take it back home and then improve our country. So, folks, if you are watching, we want to say thanks for following the discussion tonight. we are discussing some national issue recently in Liberia. I think it was on the 10th of this month when the Rwandese delegates were in Liberia. They had a bilateral, ceremony concerning the visa waiver. We also saw information surface on the Liberian National Police page concerning a special training between Liberia and Rwanda. I think that training going to be here in Rwanda, probably going to be the vice versa in Rwanda and Liberia. We don't know, but we saw something like that. So tell you that there are a lot of things happening, and we hope that all these kind of connection or the bilateral relationship, it actually come to influential that everybody will benefit from. So we have a lot of things to discuss. We are still waiting on our colleagues. I mean, they guys, they don't want to join us tonight. I don't know what is going on from the end. I saw you sending information in the chat room. Uh,
So what's the next thing on our plate for tonight, Mr. Bella?
yeah, so I'm trying to. There are a lot of things. So we have few. Let me just go to the next topic we're going to discuss tonight. But we want our followers to also share like, the few days we actually been posting back to back. If you've been following the page, there are a lot of posts we've been doing. So we want to encourage you to share, my man. Share our posts. So lately, I saw. I don't know whether I'll always ask you because social media is kind of a big, and I saw a lady from one of the strong supporter of JMB. She had a song singing JMB 419, blah 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 blah. I was like, but what's going on with this lady? I mean, her video been surfacing on various platforms, social media. You know, people sharing it, looking at the kind of a relationship that she had with JMB. Yeah. And now today she's coming out saying JMB is forward now. She actually used to pray for him, all that of stories. So if you saw that post, what do you make of that lady, song? They say it's kind of embarrassing somehow because looking at somebody who was kind of close with to JMB, because I saw some photo, her information started way back. I saw some photos between she and JMB standing, she and some officials trying to share these photos. It's
So
not really a topic for us, but
what I can say to it clearly, political marriages, almost like boyfriend and girlfriend thing. When you enter in a relationship, when you see that you are not yielding the benefit, that's the time you try to ridicule the other party.
mhm,
But in Liberia, be it as it is a country where we embrace free expressions. But this is something that I'm hoping that this government takes strong measure to. But unfortunately, the Camara Act, sometimes when you try to take action, then the people will try to raise up the Camara. Mr. Bala, the presidency is not like a classroom leadership.
sure.
The presidency is not like a head of a kitchen leadership. It's not marketing association leadership. It's not Yana Ball leadership. The presidency has prestige,
Mhm.
you know. But whatever may have transpired between the individual and His Excellency, maybe prior to the election, is between them, those individuals. And as to I found out that they may have had some relationship, proximity, in maybe in terms of friendship and what have you, daughter and father's and daughter and father relationship or so. But apparently, maybe uh, there are some things and agreements that are not being subscribed to. The leadership, the presidency is not something that you can just, as an individual, you can just dictate to, and then the person go by your way. That's why that's why some people can jokingly say, see somebody campaign after the win election. And so sometimes maybe if I come in to support you, we'll see all the good things, and maybe if I take office, Maybe we'll say all these things and I accept them to be good, but once I assume the responsibility and then I have the second thought that maybe some of these things that we discuss, and these are something bad for the country or bad for the relationship or bad for the the agreements that we may have taken in the past. So there are something I will not subscribe to easily. So maybe she too, she been disappointed. She's not the first, she's not the last, and she won't be the last. And we have seen this time in, time out. We have seen an individual ridicule the president prior to election. After the president won the election, that same individual upheld the president. So maybe they may have settled the political disagreement somehow. So political marriages, and is something that you cannot guarantee. And there are times people fall along the way. There are times on disagree, some agreement may not hold water, and you cannot just detail the president anyhow. Maybe something that he too supposed to have fulfilled and did not, that caused the other party to be aggrieved, to come out to take the media airway. And let me tell you this, you know, people say it's another form to depopularize the presidency. It's a lie. Why would they not say doing Joe time? People say those are a bad thing. At the end of the day, the man still rule for 6 years. There's nothing you can do. So whether you're individual, we are so gullible to the extent that sometimes when we list, okay, it is true that political rewards are on earth. It's not in heaven. But sometimes when you enter into some political agreements or conversation with potential leaders of the country, you these are things that are always affecting our country. Everyone puts more personal interest than public interest.
Yeah, sure.
So being JMB as a man of the world, man of the people, I may not know the entire story, so I don't want to preempt and I don't want to dwell more into that. But this is just my general view. And sometimes when personal interest become too overwhelming, then now he as a president and the head of state decide to sideline. I cannot go along with you. We are here to do the Liberian people job. I cannot assume the responsibility to be dishing money on you and what of you. So anyway you take it, that's some. Maybe there's some money that president will give after he won, and he are not yet fulfill that promise. So that made her agree. Nothing more, nothing less, my brother.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure, sure, definitely. But like you said, we have seen it on serious occasion. I mean, that's politics. So if you find yourself in a environment where you have a strong supporter, like we saw it in CDC government, we saw there were a lot of people who were supporting the government, but when the government took over, actually things were changed. Or Kennedy is different from or let's say a president. They met with Kennedy at the time. And then you could see him and you could see him at your will. You could see him anytime. Once you call him at that time. I mean, how you doing? How's everything? He was like checking on you. But now, this guy won the position. There are a lot of things have to guide him. There are a lot of people going to work along with him. Now you find out that these days, the man who you just used to call easily on your phone. Now, if you call you, if I said once they take over, they usually change their number. Sometimes. So they change their number. So at the end of the day, the man got secretary, the man got this. So before you reach out to the man, somebody have to intercept the call. And then there's the president busy. Oh.
My
Man,
brother,
president.
presidency, like I said, presidency, classroom leadership.
No, definitely.
Classroom leadership that you can just like you sit down in your comfort of your home and say, I got JMB number, I've been calling to say how you doing, to check. No way.
No.
Because that's a serious matter. You're talking about the well-being of the country. If you
Mm-hmm.
get a careless president, forget the country not going anywhere. And we saw that in the past, in past era, and I don't want to speak much about that, but
Man,
I
if
see,
you,
I see, I read some of the viewer comments that say the president is a fool now. But now, this is a national issue. I don't want to draw debate between, my viewer and I. So, but let it be clear that political marriages is like brother and girlfriend. You know,
sure.
anytime anybody can get tired and leave once a person wins election.
And that brings us to our our discussion that has to do with the president recently after the death of the late minister of state for presidential affairs. The position cannot be vacant. You need somebody to take over. So there are a lot of names we were hearing in the corridor, and one of those names that surfaced were the hearing Pedro Costa. The name surfaced, people were discussing, you know, the president going to take this, the president going to appoint Henry Costa, they're going to nominate Henry Costa. If you go for confirmation, probably if they confirm it, that's good. There are other things around the corner. But at the end of the day, we saw another name surface. So it was kind of strange to everybody. So like you said, the presidency, it comes with a lot of responsibility, and you are not the only person that are going to make decision because the government is very big. So looking at this identical information that surface, and they have to take another person to serve to that position. What do you make of that? Leaving Henry Costa, on the other side, and looking at the role Henry Costa played. Though Henry Costa were I want to be careful in my choice of words, but the way in which he were discussing the president, the then vice president, at the time, it wasn't okay because there were a lot of things. Henry Costa saying all other things about the president. The president this, he that, he's not okay. I did this for him. I do this for him. I did this. I put my nego shopping bowl for him. All of those things. At the end of the day, we saw Costa supporting the CDC. Later, Costa surfaced again. He's talking for GMB supporting Joseph Boakai. So I want to put you in put us let me just in a situation. If you were JMB.
You want to put me in a situation, or you?
No, yeah, no, I'm trying to, I want to bring a point to you so that you can analyze it. If you were in a position, yeah, yeah, if you were in a position where you had the kind of a cordial relationship with Costa, during the campaign time, how you guys went around. At the end of the day, only because he wanted to service as vice president to go with you, and you turn it down, it becomes problem. And then you try to denigrate you all on social media, try to say a whole lot of things on social media. So if it were like, what if you were president at the time, or if you were the president, Joseph Boaga, will you appoint Costa to serve in that kind of a position, looking at the minister of state for presidential affairs? It's like he sees the president almost every day. He and the president down and wow, they discuss issues. Do you think you're going to bring Costa closer to you, looking at the kind of a way in which he drag you on social media? Even there are some secret. Later they can say making talk. Indeed, making talk. There are some things you guys will talk at the back. It's not supposed to come to the public, but everything will reveal to the public. Costa discuss a lot of issues. Like there are people who like bro Megan say people more at fault. So if they were in your shoe as a, will you appoint Costa to serve to that position?
No, firstly, let me just begin with this point. You know, at certain point in time of politics, there should be loyalty and trust.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes I can just throw this open speech to my colleagues, especially my friends that I know we have shared things in common. Where I know some things about you, you know some things about me.
Mm.
The essence of respecting friendship and ensuring maturity. No matter what happened between us, what we share in the past, don't use it as a means to get at me. Because when you hold rope, rope hold bush. And at the end of the day, the public gets to know to both of us. Then they will be the judge and to know whether mine is worse than yours. You understand? So in politics, at some point in time, there should be trust, despite the disagreement. Why is true that there's nothing more about politics, but sometimes you have to ensure trust. And what Reddit makes me so angry, right? You cannot call me your confidant. We have been rocking for X amount of years, and we have been having some better things along the way. Or maybe you know some dirty things about me, X amount of years. For over 10 years plus now, we've been friends. We have done a lot of crazy things in the background. No one knows about it. Why must our relationship split now and then you bring everything to the public? There's no sign of maturity. That's
Sure.
why you can see in some political party that we saw doing in the recent months where the president announced fast and prayer. After the
Mm.
fast and prayer, we saw people started talking, you know? So you must ensure trust in your especially political, especially when you guys have come from a long way. I think the decision President Buaka made was a very wise decision. A very wise decision. You know, the old people can say, when snake boy you, when you see laser, you run away.
There go.
Where Costa was anticipating to have filled in a position that you manage the affairs of the presidency is something that the president himself has to be skeptical about. Because in my personal life, if you can do X, Y, and Z, if I can share information with you as my son or grandson, trust you,
Mm.
there ain't no time because you receive some money somewhere, boom, you take the airway, use that to discuss me, to reduce my relevance in the public. Tell me now, my brothers, intelligence, where you are
Uh,
handling intelligence. Excuse me, do you think the loyalty will still be there? No. So I think the president made a very, I was hoping that he did not appoint Costa.
but
And
why?
thankfully, he did
You
not.
know the role. You know the role that Costa plays in the president. The president now life. Costa contributed a lot. Costa took the president to the state. Costa brought
My
investors.
brother,
Costa
that one
generated
is
funds.
that one is
Others.
far lesser. That is far lesser than bringing the state now to public ridicule. If you can bring me as an individual to public ridicule, what more about the state? Yeah. Governance is very deep. If you managing the president affairs, there are intelligence you have to know about. There are intelligence you have to play a key role in, whether security or financial. So you have to play a key role. So imagine, my brother, if you can just bring my health record to the public, the state is vulnerable.
Oh yeah, sure.
The state is definitely vulnerable. So if the state becomes vulnerable, who knows? It's good enough that maybe we are in a continent where we do most of these civil conflict we see in our continent, maybe that because of land issue, maybe the other tribe on the other side in Guinea and they residing in Liberia and they want to occupy. Those are just minor issues. But where you see like India launching rocket in Pakistan, Israel and Palestine, Ukraine and Russia, those kind of conflict. If the state becomes vulnerable, God bless Africa that we are not involved in this kind of conflicts. But imagine if we were in a situ, in a position where we are open to these conflicts, these regional conflict from one country to another. The state can still be the state can be vulnerable, and that vulnerability, our counterpart can even use it to get at us if there's a conflict between both of them, us and them. So Waka made make the right decision, and especially the guy that he appointed is someone that he had worked with for over 12 years.
Yeah, sure.
As I learned that that guy was a chief of staff from 2005 up to the time he exited office. So bringing that guy back, and no one knows about that guy. No one
Mm-hmm,
knows about
mm-hmm.
the current,
I was surprised when I saw it
he
when I
was
saw
he
it
was
in the media.
he has been working with Baga as since I think minister of civil or portfolio, I know, for presidential affairs, for special service. No one really knows him.
Yeah,
So
maybe
bring
right.
that person. You need someone that manage intelligence. You need someone that do not really have too many presence in the public. Why you should now the role that he assumed, people have to know him. People have to know him. But when you want to manage, you want somebody to manage your affairs, it's something that it now have to be well known to the public. So I think the president made a sound decision, and we are on a rare path now for continuing good governance. I hope I'm not speaking like you pissed.
Because I about to ask you some question now. You are speaking like, I mean, you supporting 100%. You supporting the government. I think we are on a good path now. So folks, if you are watching, we want to say thanks for watching us. Let me take this time to recognize some of our followers. We got a few people following tonight, and like this guy Joe, is that Wenger George we are picking. When George we are picking can make a comment say JNB that 419. I mean, it's kind of a clear.
So that's
Let
why I said I do not want to have a interaction with our viewers.
yeah, sure.
You need
No,
establish
but
contact
George,
with the people and bring him because if you are making this kind of statement in your comment, it surprised me.
so George, we are picking. Drop your thought. What do you think? The decision the president made, by appointing is that why is his name
Before
again?
you drop
Sylvester?
a thought, before he drops a thought, I would just want to. I don't know whether I could respond to that. He cannot say the president is 419 when you see development going on in the country. You talking about 419, you talk about the 419, where the people say the parties in the heart. That's the 419 you should talk about. You talk about the
Hmm.
419 where you say the party in the heart. That's the 419. You know, you lie to the people, you fool your people. You cannot give them a good shelter to consolidate ideas politically. You left them out. They are homeless. That should be 419, you know.
Yeah, but Sylvester, the government, there are some 419 issue. What's about what's the information about the yellow machine? It was a 419 up to now. The yellow machine discussion, we saw the vice president went, I mean, to China. Up to
How will
now,
you
we
say
did not see
419 when let me tell you this thing. I don't you see these are things I'm avoiding. I don't want us to have this debate among ourselves like I came on this show. I came on
no,
this show. I think I'm
no, you are a young man. You are a young
Yeah,
man. We are
so
sharing our thoughts on some
I'm on
national
this
issue.
show. I'm on. If you want me to share my thought on that, because I will share my thought on the reality. And
Yeah, go ahead.
when I become to share my thought on the reality now, then you will perceive me to say the party sentiment.
No, then I have to come in with some question that you have to explain more on. Because if you sharing your thought and you are discussing reality, I'll have to bring you to some, to area that I have to break and explain, and then you pass. That's how we go. So this identical government, they came out. We saw yellow machines information was surfacing, surface all on social media. People discussing back and forth.
What was it
Later,
only?
it
Was it
subsided.
only the yellow?
No, I'm looking at yellow machine because I think it was a very good development. Because one of the problems that we face when it comes to rural connectivities or even issue of agriculture is the equipment. If every counties can just have certain amount of yellow machine, for example, 10 yellow machine that always working, working on their roads from various borders. You won't find people, find it difficult to travel during the rainy season. If you have the yellow machine from Grange there, working from Grange there, uh, 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 sorry, let me bring Sylvester back. If you have the yellow machine from Grange there, working between the border from Grange to that Railway G, and the machine from Railway G also working between the border from Railway G to that the next town. But at the end of the day, you're going to see that the legal pace will be very smooth. That's why issue about yellow machine. I was actually happy for that the legal development. Of
Oh,
course,
Mr.
it's
Bala,
not
you
good.
mentioned Grand G, River G, and so forth. What's the current situation now in those counties? Now we are in
It's
rainy season.
according to information because according to
No.
information, it's okay.
Yes. Tell
No,
me what you
I
have
haven't
gathered.
been on the road. I've left Liberia since 5 years
Yes,
now. I'm
that's
in
what
the
I'm
south.
saying. Tell me
No,
what you have gathered. According to what you know, what's the current situation now of the road condition?
according to information, the road now is pliable. It's okay because I saw MTA
Good.
bus at this time traveling from how they call it from Monrovia to Maryland. I saw MTA bus. I also saw Honorable Peno
Isn't that a
praising the
progress?
government. Yeah, it's a progress. I
Isn't
saw
that a
Honorable
progress?
Peno, one of the
So,
senator in Akami. I saw Honorable Peno, one of the senator
mm,
from Grange there, praising the government that yes, they are doing well at this time. You are all, I think he's saying, well, West share, you are explaining the road condition is kind of okay, which of course I agree.
these are things Joe, we are, Wega picking it, don't want to hear. These are things that they don't want to hear. You
No,
know,
for me,
so you talk about a yellow machine. Yeah. Was it
uh-huh.
a yellow machine that the government paraded with? The government had made several interventions in the firefighting sector. Several intervention. So if the people say we are bringing yellow machine, it trying to give Liberians the hope that something good is coming to the country. It is almost like you went for a job interview. I'm not ready, though it somehow is incomparable. You went for a job interview and then you did an interview and then you got good feedback from the people that were interviewing you. You come home, you tell your family, that UN job I apply for, by the grace of God, will get it. So I just waiting the people to get out to put out their result. Then your children happy, your family happy. My pa going get another nation job. So it takes time. Let the people do that vetting. Maybe in the next full of 2 to 3 months, to call you, you get a job. So these are what happening. So if we say we get yellow machine coming to the country to ease our transport situation on the highway, and all the yellow machine I can, I think one or two can assemble or so forth. Hmm? And now you can see the progress on those roads.
I like
Eh?
it. One or two kings are sample.
Uh-huh. And they gotta go negotiate now for more now to come. So what's the issue? The matter of fact, we can guarantee you it will be in the country. Hmm? Whether or not it be the expected the number that were pronounced in the past, but you will see yellow machine. And you just attested to it. The rules are applicable. Uh-huh. Despite that it is not alpha rule yet, these are some of the situations I too I have. And, we have to discuss it on a different date, especially with. But we have to recognize progress when it start to, and riding on mud road is not something that we should be happy about, but we are making progress. At least people can move in a
At
swift
least people
possible
can
speed.
move. Folks, if you are watching, this is Screen Vision and we are discussing some national issue. Liberia is all that we have.
So
Liberia is a
tell
country that we can. Uh-huh. Yeah, he's
so tell
watching.
Joe strong man, I know Joe strong man or Joe we are picking that the government is not on 419. You talking about 419. My both parents are civil servants.
I don't have to tell you. He's listening. He's watching. I don't have to tell him.
My both parents are civil servants. As a child, I know why it took. during the George Weah administration.
Okay.
Imagine when your father expecting November pay or your father expecting August pay, then August pay coming in December.
Hmm.
Your mom expecting August pay or August pay coming in December. Then
So
you
now
get
these days,
somebody.
so now these days they're coming on time, right?
You coming on time, my brother.
I think we need to find like from the discussion tonight is clear that you are a strong supporter of the ruling or party.
No,
So I think we need to break
I
it
don't,
whether
I don't want to dwell, I don't want to dwell in too many, party politics conversation. Let's
no
discuss the national issue
I
as a
I,
whole.
I I love I
Let's
love
address challenges.
but nowadays like bureau like if you are discussing reality because while you
No,
discussing it man sure are saying those things. But once you start to discuss it, people will be like, this guy, he's supporting this government. And it's
no, it's
reality.
not about me supporting this government. It's not about me supporting this government. It's about me looking at the reality as a young man, tracking
Yeah,
progress.
sure.
There are mistakes one way or the other government is making. When you time come for all the talking, we'll talk it. But you should not position me in a way that okay, UP supporter or UP and
Let
alliance supporter
so
versus
now
opposition.
that's why it's
And
good for you to balance it now. Yeah, the government is making progress, but this is what we are seeing. If you balance the discussion like that, then we understand, we know where we are going. So I mean, the public will be the judge, but if you balance the discussion like that, if you
I'm
discuss
in
progress
position.
and then
Listen
also
me.
discuss the lapses that's going on right now, then we know where we're coming
Politically,
from.
politically, you cannot have me shooting myself in the leg on
So you
public
see,
media. Eh? No, it's not so you
no,
see it, right?
you are
Listen,
sharing your
listen.
thought. You are
No,
not shooting
I'm
yourself in the
coming.
leg.
I'm coming. I'm in position. If I have challenges with the government that should be discussed, maybe be discussed with relevant people that I know. If you as an individual now you bring out these challenges, then I will see how best I can go into it and analyze it as it is. But I cannot be the one drawing out the fault on
And
the
that's why
public media.
I just mentioned the issue about
I will
the
draw
yellow machine.
progress. I will draw progress, and you as an opposition, you have to draw a fault and let's discuss it.
Yeah, so you talk about the yellow
Let me
machine.
acknowledge.
When it comes to the
Yeah.
issue
So
about
you have to draw.
drugs,
You have to draw a fault. Let us discuss it. Let me as a realist. Let me acknowledge it as a fault, and we discuss it and find solution. But I will
okay,
not be the one to draw all my fault and then I make you a particular to discuss my fault.
okay,
On no
fair
condition,
enough,
my brother.
fair enough. Once since
Mhm.
you are in position, we
But
also need to
let it
find
be known.
opposition.
Let it be
We need to find
known.
opposition to
Let it
also
be
bring
known.
them.
Let it be known that I'm on this platform as a panelist,
Yeah,
not a
sure,
political
it's clear.
panelist.
It's clear.
Uh-huh.
Now,
But
I
we will respond to issues when it need be against groups that I'm affiliating with.
okay, thank you. Fair enough.
Mhm.
Now, let's look at the way the I think JMB pronounced just as one of the national enemy or the public enemy. But like the way the issue about just, I mean,
National
see the
emergency.
yeah,
Yeah.
emergency. Look at Liberia now, the issue about just. When JMB took over, he appointed two persons. Let's just look at those group. At the end of the day, those people started you know, that information, fighting about himself. JB have to change those people. Akin to sorry. Oh my god. I got some technical issue. Let me try to sort it out. Okay. So up to now, we are still finding it difficult to handle drugs in our country. Quite recently, they started raiding from rural ghettos, even up to now. They even have some children they put in the bus and they transfer them This place, how
Yeah,
do you
Boko
call this?
RC.
Yes. But information living from that place says those children, they are not being fed very well. The food issue is a problem. Even the drugs, you are not giving somebody food, but you want to give them drugs to take. These children try to jump, like brother will say, over the fence, going in this very community. Don't you think they are putting into communities into threat, into danger? Looking at what these children are capable of doing to satisfy their needs or their wants? Don't you think so? Those children can do anything just to take in that jobs because they need money. And now you take those people to that area and you are not really supporting it. That's why the last time when they came out, they start, railing people out like, is Liberia really prepared for this now? That's the question that came to my mind. I was asking myself, are we really prepared for this? Because if you prepare, meaning you have already built, don't even take the people to that triple RC place. It's another area. Government should construct a specific area, a very big 100 to 120 acres, that you get various technical or vocational training institution there. That you get these people and then you train them, take them the jobs from out of them, not just leaving them. You train them, that somebody will even come up with diploma in plumbing, diploma in carpentry, diploma in this one. That tomorrow when they come out, they'll be able to, take care of themselves. But you bundle those people and then you take them to the center there. The first time you take them there, we give 50,000 to take care of those people. At the end of the day, the people going through that difficulties there. What do you make out of that?
You know, again, Mr. Bala, it is certain that drugs has taken our country, especially the young people. Um, at a certain point in time, I usually joke with one of my family members and say, these drugs that are coming in is being attributed to the Nigerians. Before I go into the issue, let me just lay the basis. I know we don't have time, but I'll be swift. And if you can recall during our civil conflict, especially during the Chad Taylor era, those Ecomos that died, they were Nigerians. Majority of them that died during the civil conflict, they were Nigerians. So I usually joke with my family member to say, since we made it in Nigerian women out of widow during the civil conflict, and they are able to declare war on Liberia, what they will do, they will spoil the future. It's saddening that drugs are taking over our communities. But we must also recognize some efforts. While it's true that when the president expressed confidence in you to execute a mandate, he must be changed. And it did not go down well with him and even the citizens themselves of what have been transpiring at LDA, leaders fighting among themselves instead of combating drugs. But a decision of government to take children off the street is a holistic approach. That's why make you have health involved, you have the joint security involved, and you have all those social groupings involved. So this is something that I'm looking at. The legislature has to take a stand. I learned that they have passed a cool drugs law. But why is it that drugs is still proliferating in the country? Why they say that our young people are still into the drugs issues? Now community is also involved. Community have begun to raid ghettos with police support. But the problem is with the leaders that are spearheading the drugs enforcement agency. Like you correctly mentioned, they have changed leadership up to leadership up to leadership. So we yet to see this new acting leadership to know what they will do best. Fighting or combating these drugs is about your mind, your self. You must be driven by the passion to doing so. The president will not go there and do everything. It is true. He appoints people that he express strong confidence in, but they should do what they ought to do. And we're looking forward that strict measures will be put in place. And one thing they put up, you see, good enough that finance ministry have begun to increase security apparatus salary, but still, my brother, it's very little. Because imagine somebody coming country with consignment worth like 4 million, and that police officer or the immigration or drugs enforcement officer that are those various bullet points. Maybe the person receiving $250 because when they hammer down that salary at that time, it was 150, 75. So now we're trying to de-hammer that, pushing it all small, small. It will not go all at once. So maybe the first step they have taken to increase it maybe up to $250. But it's still small. To first drug, while it's true that you need police officers to be driven by passion, but they should also have something substantial to take home to take care of her family. Most of these things are happening. You can find in some country where you see the security apparatus is like a zero tolerance to entry of drugs. One thing he's driven by the passion. Secondly, what he's taking home can take care of it, take care of his family. So he does not need a cartel money to smuggle drugs or to aid and abet him to smuggle drugs. So the problem lies in the sector that fighting against drugs. And it is true that the salary might be small, but the passion should be overwhelming. Because at the end of the day, when you become a security apparatus, you are element of the state. So you must do everything in your willpower to protect the state. So it's just saddening, but I'm hoping that a holistic approach will be taken with the new leadership. And at certain point in time when Baba started appointing ministers, he used to ask the minister, "Have you taken your drug test? Have you taken your?" But these days that we see new appointment, we don't see Senate doing these things. We don't see Senate doing these things. So these are things that we have to work on, especially with our legislature, to ensuring like another thing. There's a personnel in the LDESA. There are some people government official in the team, but everybody protecting each other. But once we start naming and shaming people, the proliferation of drugs will minimize. So what I can say for the LRRC, I don't know the rationale behind putting group of men together, saying taking them to LRRC to rehabilitate them. Their recommendation made is good. The government now maybe they are contemplating on doing such to see that they have a hub for rehabilitation. And another step again, let me just end on this note quickly. When the youth are jobless, adult mind is a devil's playground. So now the government has tried to intensify the presidential young professional program, PY double P. Now we see Ministry of Finance and LWSC and I think MCC, they have incorporated over 100 young people. It is true the number is small, but you need active programs that will keep people busy, make people responsible of contributing to the growth and development of that society. So we looking forward to seeing that spreading around, especially to those various counties. Maybe you get some youth to go back to the soil and assist the county in that regard. It will also assist in reducing the in reducing the drugs abuser in our country. So these are things we have to look at. It's a holistic approach, and we must also commend the government for taking some efforts. Unlike that we saw people name and shame before you go low, then maybe the person is afraid of their life. But this is a bold step that we all have to consolidate in ensuring that drugs is number one enemy to the state.
So thank you so much, Sylvester. We time is no longer our friend, so we're going to continue this discussion on Sunday. The issue about jobs, we're going to start with it, yeah, so that we can talk more on that. So I just wanted to give a parting comment, so that we can call this, you know, just wrap up so that we can leave this platform tonight. And we want to say thanks to our colleagues who are watching. We say thanks so much. Thanks for sharing our show. Please follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. Go on YouTube, log on YouTube and search for Screen Vision. Follow us. Share our content. We will appreciate a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, so just close so that we can, leave. Thank you so much.
So, in closing, I would firstly like to appreciate our viewers and to also express an apologies. A screen vision is here to stay, and don't be deterred to keep following the latest happenings. Most of the information that we also gather is from other sources. So we are here to discuss some issues. While it's true that we did not exhaust most of the training issues that occurred on during the course of last week, but it's obvious that we cannot exhaust all. But we ask you to keep engaged with us. This is emerging a platform, and we are growing day by day. So stay tuned with us as we discuss the issue and also make contribution. It's not about partisanship, but you discuss, express your view, and we can see how best we can handle it from that regard. Because the idea is, at the end of the day, the divergence of views will grow our country, will grow this platform, and also grow us individually because we know how to engage conversation, especially issue affecting us, and see how best we can find actionable recommendation and propose to our government. On that note, I sincerely appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward that to seeing you on Sunday, at least that you can also contribute to this show. And Mr. Bala, thank you again for the time. Let us keep screen vision apolitical.
It's difficult. But anyway, thank you so much, Sylvester. I actually love your you brought on the platform tonight. We hope that we're going to get more of this come Sunday so that we can just share our thought on some of these things. Like we will continue to say, Liberia is all that we have. We do not have another country somewhere. Liberia is all that we have. So we have to do everything. We have to share our ideas. What can we do to protect Liberia? So but I think you also have to start with our minds. We have to develop our minds, our way of thinking. It shouldn't be like Paul was there. What did he do? Like make me change it? No, you can still makes the difference. Not because Paul was there, you were corrupt. So if you go there too, you're going to corrupt the entire system. We understand to tackle corruption in Liberia, it's kind of a it's I don't really know how to put it, but it's kind of a interconnected. Yeah. So if you try to hold rope, we're going to hold bush, bush hold this. So all those people that don't just did that they have some connection allegedly with some government officials that backing them. So that's why you see AB Koma kept telling Fadiga, say, look, you don't approach the issue like that. Liberia issue different from America issue. We have to take it, easy. Because to tackle the corruption in Liberia is not about individual, brother. It's difficult, but we can still make it. All depends if we all decide to change our mind. And we want for Liberia to be the kind of a country that we want it, we have to work together. So we want to say thanks so much for following us. We're going to be here next Sunday. Kindly join the conversation, share our show. There are a lot of trending issues we've been posting the week on social media. Go make your comment. The more you make comment, you share your thought, you're going to encourage you to do more of these things. So we want to say thanks so much for watching and do have to say a good night wherever you are. I mean, or good evening. We see you on Sunday. Thank you so much, JJ.